Greetings. Thank you for joining us for tonight's broadcast for the complete other insane greetings. This is midnight, a couple minutes to midnight here on the East Coast. Timelines are shifting. The world is making more sense as the world gets closer to implosion. I think that's a joke. I'm not really sure about that, but we'll see. So China and Taiwan. So apparently the war drums of China are increasing. I think there's not much anybody can do anything about it, but it looks like they're taking it very seriously. I don't think they're messing around. At least that's the vibe I'm getting from them now. Now, was it what's her face was over there recently, and that was like an active war, you can say. And now here we are. Well, it hasn't started yet, but things take time. Judging by the energies, it looks like Taiwan's gonna have a visit from China very soon, or maybe it might be a couple months. It's really not sure, but it's not clear. But something probably is gonna happen eventually. So with Russia, you saw with 2020, it should just warm up. Also, Constantine. He founded Christianity. They used to persecute the Christians, feed them to the lions. And then Constantine needed some support. So he became friendly with the Christians and created Christianity. But, it's created the Catholic Church, which really disconnected all the metaphysical teachings of Jesus and just made it to what it is today, the nice evil empire it is currently. So which I didn't realize that. I don't remember history that much, but so I had some synchronicities. I'm doing a channel text on Jesus, and Constantinople came through, and I had a synchronicity about Constantine. I wasn't looking for it. And so Constantine, even Rome itself, has a lot of Martian energies connected to it. So you wonder where the Martian connections are, and just look at wherever war is. That's the Martian frequencies. Of course, Greece wasn't always war, from what I can feel. Obviously, for Battle Atlanteans, but I don't think Greece wanted to be warlike. They just kind of forced into it. And it goes into Sparta and all that. Sparta is very Martian. And so you have Constantine the Martian that's bringing in Christianity. Obviously, it's creating the evil empire we have today. And so let's see where that goes. And the Turkmenistan, I can't remember. There's a city, I've done a channeling on this before, but I kind of run into it again recently, the Illuminati city. It's a Turkmenistan, I can't remember the name, how to pronounce that, but anyway. It shows, I did a channeling on this like in November or December, maybe it was December last year, about that, it's like you wonder where the Illuminati are. Of course, Kazakhstan's one of them. But this place is very similar. You have to have like a visa to get into the place. I mean, you have to have like a tourism visa. You can't just go there whenever you feel like. It looks very Illuminati-like. I think the cars have to be all white. It has a lot of marble. I think it's marble. Everything is white there. The buildings are very white. So just Illuminati energy, I guess, has been tapping into. I've picked it up today for some bizarre reason, so I figured out to tap into. Must be a reason for it, as they set the world on fire. So with Taiwan, it's not looking good. It might be September when they start doing something. It might be sooner than that. It's really hard to say. They're not playing around, I don't think. We've heard rumors about it for a while, so it looks like they're on their way. It's just a matter of time. Now, who knows? They might change their minds and just. They're doing war games right now to how to invade the place. So I don't know. It's like I don't think if the U.S. goes to war, I don't think they're going to win, but we'll see. Anyway, I guess you'll have to update your phone anymore. You won't be able to do it anymore because I guess all the the conductors and like that comes from there. So, anyway, Turkmenistan. Yeah, I can't remember how to pronounce that city, but anyway, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, but Constantine, you know, it is funny how to synchronicity with that. So we'll see what else we got with that. I think there was something else here, but I can't remember what it was. But that's all right. I think we're on Rumble somewhere. I think. All right, this is I'm going to talk economy private sessions. His schedule. We have the shop here. I'm in the forget where I'm at. I'm in the middle of the month. I'm at the end of July. Same situation here with webinar, social networking behind the scenes. And then, yeah, Constantine energy. So, of course, that's not exactly, even with the lions there, creepy. Not the best energy there. Yeah, none of that looks good. None of it. So Mithras is like the god that they were worshiping. They're saying they're worshiping Jesus and all that, but it's actually this god that they're worshiping because there's a lot of I don't know if there's a lot of similarities, but either way, this is the Roman god that they're worshiping. So the people say it was Christianity, but it was actually that god that they're worshiping. So there's the name anyway. And then you have this place, Turkmenistan, something like that. Like I said, I've shown this before, but you look at some of the stuff they have there. I mean, even that, it doesn't look, it looks very elitist. If you're looking for, people say the Illuminati don't exist. I'm sure about that. So, got yourself a little golden horse there, a couple of them. They say the Illuminati don't exist, and then you see a city like this. It's like, it does have some North Korean vibes to it, but it's nowhere near as lethal, I don't think. But yeah, it's definitely an odd place for sure. But yeah, it has a lot of Syrian energy connected to it. I don't know what these guys are. So it gives the idea of, it's like really away from everything, really, when it comes down to it, compared to their other Muslim countries. So they're definitely hiding something. Well, maybe not hiding it, but there's definitely elitist energy that's going on there. But maybe it's just my imagination. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Maybe just delusion has hit its full capacity. I'm sure of that. Yeah, the world's got a long ways to go. The thing about this whole thing with Taiwan and China, so if you're trying to connect to your spirit guides and then you're over there in Taiwan and it gets attacked, you get to visit your spirit guides. Even if you didn't believe in spirit guides, you get to visit them. Maybe not in the way you thought you would. Say once you're physical and now you're non-physical. So, at least that's the way it's looking right now. The energies might shift, but it might change. It might just lay down their guns and all that. But it looks like so far they're taking it very seriously. At least China is, and Taiwan is too. I don't think Taiwan's going to win this, but who knows? We'll see. I don't think China cares at this point. I don't think they have anything to lose. They want it, and they're right there, right next to it. So they can fight that thing forever. So it's going to hit the U.S. The military's resources a lot if we get involved. So I believe that was more of a declaration of war when the policy was there. But whatever. I just observation. Um, so yeah, Constantine and all that. You see how the Catholic Church is and how horrible it is. I know there's probably some good sides to it, but there's also, yeah. So obvious, like with the cathedrals, all the Tartarian energies there. Just we'll just see what we get here. So okay, all right, we'll connect to I guess the China consciousness. I guess um, what's happened to some of that. Maybe the Syrian energies that's connected to it. Maybe the Arcturian frequencies. And go to Constantine and Turkmenistan. I can't. I feel like figure out how to pronounce that. Illuminati city. We'll just call it that. Because that's pretty much what it is. For those that don't believe in that stuff, of course, a lot of people don't even know where that is on the map. It's somewhere on the map. Most people don't even believe it even exists. So it tells you where the world is right now. So I channeled them a long time ago. Man, yeah, I remember it now a little bit, but it's been a while. So, but yeah, for me to tap into it, there must be something going on there for me to pick up on it. So all the elites are hiding there in their golden palaces as we get ready for thermonuclear war or whatever it is that we're planning on. That was the other thing about, like, even today, it feels like we're playing like a timeline shift. That was the other thing. It's the reason why I started looking at Taiwan and all that. Something's happening. It's like it's real quiet. Like the whole Trump thing happened recently. Okay, I can't say that name apparently, but yeah, they might try to get him from. I can't say anything on that because YouTube is private, baby. But yeah, it's a communist technology, AI. But yeah, I think we're going into like a reset. It's going to get wild, apparently. I felt that like last month, but nothing happened. And here we are. So, of course, it hasn't fully engaged just yet. So, all right, the cats are sleeping. They were running around like they lost their minds, and I went to bed. As soon as I go offline, it'll probably pop up again. So, they're taking a nap somewhere. Get for their 1 o'clock in the morning run around. So, okay. All right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings. We have the Chinese China's consciousness. Yes, China does not like to be pushed around. It has many agendas. It feels like Taiwan is part of its bloodline. But of course, the U.S. is doing a lot of things they probably should not be doing. A lot of spies going on, espionage, that's happening that the news media would never talk about. So basically, there's already a war going on, but it's secret. And so you're just seeing it on a public stage slowly unraveling. So this is already going on. So it doesn't mean it's going to go to the full extent as people imagine, but of course, it can. It probably will. It's just we can't go into details. We'll just let the timeline unfold as it is necessary, need to. But there's been a lot of backstabbing between countries, and there is a slight change in timelines. Basically, it's to get also to look over here and not pay attention to anything else. So it is a distraction once again. But this is kind of a major distraction. It's been in the works for some time. There's also a lot of artificial intelligence energies. So you can see artificial intelligence is maturing with society. Not that you're going to have a robot society anytime soon, but artificial intelligence is getting stronger because that's what this has to do with. It has to do with semiconductors, has to do with technology. One of the reasons why this war is even happening. So, of course, I'm not going to always tell you the full story publicly. Of course not. But U.S. citizens of this earth, obviously, maybe don't want this to occur. You put your energies for it not to happen, but some need it to happen for their own growth. Well, it's a wake-up call. For those that feel like nothing will ever happen, it's a wake-up call that will find those that need to find it, that need to be involved with this. The world needs to be shaken up. And this is one way to cause a lot of turnaround. to where this is going to go is not something we can go into because it's the life experience that you need to go through. All you can do is just connect to yourselves, not worry, but realize there is a change on its way. It has to happen. The world has to evolve. It has to change, and it's warming you up to when society will eventually be affected in some form or another. It's up to you how you accept this. You don't have to like it, but it is part of the soul growth of many on your earth. So there's also our terrain energy here. So we will bring that frequency in. Blessings. Greetings. We have our terrains. Blessings. Uh, this whole situation is yes, it's up to the human consciousness. Basically, humanity looks one way. It does not always want to know what it just. There's things about the world that basically humans get used to a certain way of life, and yes, change is inevitable. So it doesn't mean that it has to always be war, but for this case, there are two countries that just don't get along with each other. That's the U.S. and China, for God's sakes. So you're dealing with teenager antics, like high school, and yes, it will go to all levels of. Obviously, you're not being told everything that's going on for obvious reasons. Some of you can handle it. Most society doesn't want to know. Actually, society really wants to change its frequency, which it doesn't, because it just kind of gets in the back seat and just rides the wave, which is fine. But if humanity take more interest in all of this, of anything, this wouldn't even be happening. If the human consciousness really just stepped up, which most is not doing, it does go into its own life, which is fine. But if humanity puts its energy out there for these type of things not to occur, it won't happen. But also, you have to like take ownership of your planet, which many are not willing to do. It's basically for humanity itself to take more responsibility for the planet itself. Some of you are doing that, but obviously most of your collective is not doing that. As more as you can take responsibility for the planet, less things like this will occur. Of course, there are others that are taking ownership. Obviously, they're the ones causing this. But really, as a human collective, you can't shift the vibrations of it. You can change the timelines here, and it can be altered. But humans have to want to do it. Most don't want to do it. They don't think they can do it. They're too lazy. They don't feel like it. They have the reasons. And obviously, we can say this all day long, and people won't believe us. Of course, not many people are listening to this anyway. But as a human collective, you can really change your Earth's frequency right now if you wanted to. And some of you can, but it's only so many. It's only so much power a few have compared to the rest of your society, at least on an energy level. Obviously, if you have power of government and all that, but they misuse their power all the time, and they do get karma for it. It does come back to them. They do it anyway. They don't care. Some of them are getting more ignorant. Your politicians are getting actually more childlike. They're going backwards. It's like you're dealing with like little kids, even worse, because they don't care anymore. They have nothing to strive for anymore. So they're just becoming infants in the mind. Some of them are, and you can see it. It's like you're dealing with children. So that's just their choice. Well, when they act like children like that, they feel like they're not responsible for it, just like a regular kid would do that. That's what's happening now. They become so ignorant of their own mistakes, just like a kid would do it. But yeah, it's pretty bad when an adult goes into a childlike mentality and whole responsibility gets thrown out the window, as you're dealing with now. This happens throughout history all the time. Actually happened with the Romans, and you're just seeing it in a current climate. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse until it gets better. Blessings. Brings you. This is the consciousness of Constantine, Yes, there is a Martian. Well, there's a Roman energy that doesn't always want to show us Martian connections. Well, basically, how do you dominate a world? What would you go to do such a thing? What would you do on if you had to do it? Basically, it's all about legacy. It is all about smarts. It doesn't. Morality goes out the window when you're at a position of power. Morality doesn't matter. As you can see, even with your current leaders that are not to comment on that. But the viciousness of the past, you can get away with it, as you can see through history. Yeah, it's more bloodthirsty because it could be. It was allowed because you're basically a god, at least in my position. So for Christianity, it was to unite the people, not necessarily for their best interests, but to us basically put the war against the Christians to heal that, but also another way of going after the Christians to manipulate them. So we're not going to attack you anymore, but we're not exactly going to go by what you choose either. We're not going to exactly worship what you think we're worshiping. And so we connect to those energies, but it's part of the current Catholic frequencies. And so the corruption has never changed throughout history. Of course, it's going to do things it can get away with. Obviously, it's kind of angry that it even got caught. It doesn't want to get caught. It wants to continue in its reign of terror, you can say. Not all of it's bad. There are some good energies there, but it is ran by a reptilian order, basically to take the freedoms from others and to add, basically to put a mask over people, or so people can't see what's happening here. Your belief systems. As you can see, many do live in fear due to the Catholic Church. Done because they're afraid of the emperor, afraid of being executed. There's always been a fear energy. Yes, has a Martian frequency, of course. There's also some Venus energy. It's not just Mars. Some Venus is not very kind because Venus has to do with looks, appearance, and selling it. The Martian is like hidden for obvious reasons. It's all, as you see, there's celebrities. It's all about appearance. And it causes tricks to even the colors of some, like what people wear, the celebrities, what they wear, plays a big role in how they control people. Especially those that dress up like all Egyptian, at least in some level, on some of their music videos, Egyptian energies, which shows part of their connection. They can't always hide it. So obviously, there's a lot of musicians that don't are, yes, unfortunately, are soulless, but that's been through the past also. We can't have those as celebrities having their own free will, connected to the people. They have to be under control. You can't just let them do whatever they want. That's not how you stay in power. It's all about keeping, your status. But as you go into a new energy on your earth, it's up to you what you are experiencing, how you want to evolve, how much you want to see, because some don't want to see it, but not everyone's prepared to see what's here. Obviously, the reptilian energies that want to, obviously, reptilian rule, they don't want to see, they don't want to be seen here because then they lose their power. But they have a grip over society, as you can see through the mentality. But many of you are healing that and helping others become, with the alien energies, so it's easier for them to cope with it, heal it, for it to be seen. You're already seeing it through the human, basically human. Heal the human frequencies so humans can no longer have this fear frequency that's surrounding them, which surrounds many. So there's also octopus beings here. I know this sounds a little strange, but there are squid beings here that are extremely powerful mentally. You don't see them here physically for obvious reasons, but they do work in the astral controlling society. Think of it as a hive mind. Greetings to you. Yes, we are. Yes, Illuminati City, Turkmenistan. Doesn't matter how you pronounce it. It's basically Illuminati energies that does not afraid to hide itself, as you can see. And of course, they're not saying that they're kingdoms of the world, but they're one of them. They're not. They are proud of their power. Basically, they feel like the rest of the world does not know they exist. So basically, they confront their energies. Of course, Kazakhstan is the same way. It's basically so in kind of a warped way of how society works. It's basically where some of the elite, not all of it, some of the elite aren't afraid to show themselves. Of course, humans laugh it off, don't believe it even exists, and so it continues on. It's not part of your society. You don't have news media talking about it, for obvious reasons. But it's there if you want to find it. It doesn't mean like you go to that country and they're just going to tell you everything. No, but it shows that there is an elite system going on there. It's good and bad. It's like a diplomatic country, you can say. So there are other places around the world that are not so obvious. There's places in Germany where it's have a lot of elite energy. Bulgaria is one of them. Bulgaria is actually stronger than Brussels. Of course, you're not going to see anything in Bulgaria to show the manipulation that's going on. They're not going to have elite meetings in front of everyone, but basically they want to show their power, in some form or another. But yeah, your world here is obviously humans are taught to think a certain way. To look now, you can know if you want to know, but once again, are people going to fully see the depth side of it? There are also worlds, elitist worlds, where it's all gold, golden cities on other planets. And some of those are elite worlds, not all of them. Some of them are Anunnaki. And this country that we're speaking of does have a lot of Anunnaki arrogance there. And it's not afraid to show itself. There is some Egyptian energies, obviously keep the Egyptians, you can say, showed too much in its past, and so that's another reason why it was all separated. Everything was in everyone's face to those that saw it, so it was all hidden for obvious reasons. There is some Atlantean energy, but it's not going to really show itself, and people won't believe it anyway. But there's Atlantean energies all through your society, actually in British society. There's a lot of old Atlantean thought patterns there, especially when you have yourself a king, because Atlanteans did have a king there too, or a queen, whatever it might be. Sometimes a queen is better to sell it than a king. If you have a queen selling manipulation, dictatorship, others like, oh, this is so pleasant. If it was a king, it might be a whole different story. Everyone starts hating him. Obviously, as long as the king treats people decently, if it was the other way around, it won't be a king anymore. Or they won't have royalty anymore. So they know we're not to cut the line, basically. But some, like the French Revolution, they wanted to destroy themselves. Those of the royalty of France. You can say they got to a level where they didn't have nowhere else to go. And so being destroyed by the people made sense. So obviously they might not say that on a conscious level, but you can say they just felt bad for just treating people like garbage. It's like we want to be killed, and sure enough, they were. So obviously not doing that in this society, but they are showing within some of your governments the arrogance that's going on there. And yes, the warped thinking, which is no different from any elite system of your past. It's just happening in your current world, similar to like the Romans. Like they might have someone insane running your country. Nothing new from a Roman energy. It's just they're not going to the level of abuse as they had in the past, but they do it, but they do it in a different way. And you're seeing that currently. So the Roman energies are just modern. It is within everywhere, actually. United States for sure. Even in Britain, there's parts of it. Not all of it. So, those things.